Hey guys, how's it going? Hope you're doing well today. I had a few requests on how to sing with a chesty fuller mix. So you might notice that when you're going higher in your range in your medium mix, or with a more chesty sound, there's a point where you have to thin out, and it might sound weaker than you like. Now, of course, there is a point in your range while in mixed voice that you have to completely leave your chest eventually, right? But this might be happening to you a lot earlier than it needs to happen, meaning that you should be able to bring your chest voice up pretty high. So you might notice that around G4, G sharp 4, that you have to get a little more whiny or nasally and thin out, and you might drop out of your chest and lose that power. Um, or maybe earlier if you haven't strengthened that chest resonance a lot yet. But we really should be able to bring it up to at least there, um, maybe even a little more. I mean, the goal C5 would be really high to have any chest resonance. But we can definitely get at least a tiny hint around there, and then we have to pretty much thin out mostly into our mask and head. Singers like this that use a much fuller mix, you think of like rock singers like Dave Grohl from Foo Fighters, Dan Reynolds from Imagine Dragons, a much more aggressive full tone. Jared Leto uses a fuller mix a lot of times when he gets a little more powerful. Michael Bublé sings with a more belty, chesty sound. There's a lot of rock singers and other kinds of music that use a more fuller mix, but those are a few examples. Where as opposed to someone like Robert Plant, you was pretty much in medium mix the entire time and sat in this forward, there's a lady who's sure, and then he brought that up, really high, pretty much didn't use a ton of chest resonance. Anyway, so I'm going to try to explain this a couple ways, and give you a few different ways to visualize how to have a more chesty sound. So what we need to find out first is if we already have a strong chest resonance lower in our range that we can start to bring up more and more with time. If we don't have a strong chest resonance in our lower range, then we definitely will not be able to bring that up higher and have a strong chesty sound in mixed voice. So what I mean by that is we should be able to, so here's F3. So down here we should be able to have a very full nay. So we do a nay. The N gives us a forward placement to kind of nay, gives us a nice buzz. So let's try nay. Nay. Right? Now, the point of this is not to, I say this every video, the point of this is not to make this your singing voice, but to be able to resonate almost completely in your chest, if that makes sense. So, again, so what we're doing here, we kind of have a dopey kind of sound, right? And this is also called a lower larynx position. So if you put your finger on your Adam's apple and do nay and try to resonate mostly here, you'll find that your Adam's apple sits lower, as opposed to if you're really nasally and nay, right? So this is a high thyroid, high larynx position, nay, and we also can be in between those, right? Nay. So if your voice sounds like this, try to tap even more into chest from nay to nay, right? Okay, now we're getting a fuller chest sound, right? So what the goal is to be able to blend that higher and higher over time. So we can get even just a hint of that up in our more nasally medium mix can make our note sound a lot stronger, or give the illusion that they're harder or stronger if we just have a hint of that darker chest sound, right? Now, on top of that, if we add a little fry, that also can make a higher note sound a lot more powerful. But we'll get into that. Okay, so what we can do here. So if you're having a hard time getting into this full chest sound, let me know in the comments, and I'll try to help as much as I can. Maybe I can do another video on that. So here, let's start again. Nay. You can try, I'm doing open vowel, so nay, na, na, no. So really try to place that in a lower placement. So if you're having trouble with this, just so if just to visualize this, so if I'm thinking of my voice, I don't know, for some reason sometimes I visualize a triangle with my voice. Kind of hard. So the bottom part would be like a more chesty full sound, and at the top is a more, nasally medium mix sound, right? So if we think of being more nasally, I kind of think of like a triangle, kind of like this, right? Because we're forward, we're kind of having a piercing tone, like nay, right? And if I'm have a lower larynx position, I feel that it's a taller sound as opposed to this. I'm more like tall, nay, right? So you should feel it more upwards, almost like a column coming up from your chest. Nay, have that good support. Nay, open throat. And if you're much more nasally, nay, you kind of feel it just shoot right there, right? And it's not, you don't really feel it in your chest pretty much at all. Nay. Anyway, just another way to hopefully maybe that helps try to visualize it if you're having trouble. So let's keep going up. So you want to be really focused on not shifting this placement at all as we go up. Try to keep it in the same exact sound and placement the whole time. Right, keep that. Now we're on C4. C sharp. D. Okay, so now we're on E flat. Typically between E flat and F sharp, or G flat, whatever you want to think of it, E flat and F sharp is kind of where a natural male voice wants to break into falsetto, if this is your break. If you're having trouble with that, then you most likely have to develop your falsetto a lot more and your medium mix kind of to come downward, meaning your mask to come down and meet your chest voice. So I have another video on soft mix versus medium mix that kind of dives into this, and I'll talk about it a little more as we get higher. But as we're getting here, keep that same placement. Keep going. So we're on E4. So if you're already feeling that your voice is transitioning into a thinner place, when I say that, I mean going from to the top note, going right? I'm thinning out a ton at the top and going more in the mask. You pretty much have to do this over and over again and forcing yourself to stay in that chest placement. And when I say force, I mean it shouldn't be uncomfortable. I'm just saying be very aware that you're leaving your chest and don't leave your chest. And obviously this might take a little time, but you have to be really aware that you're still maintaining a lower larynx position, still having that darker sound and resonating in your chest. So keep that in mind. Now I am just a tiny bit leaving my chest because we're getting a little higher, but I'm maintaining that dark sound, right? And there's still a lot of chest. F4, here we go. Right? So right here, F4, we're getting close to where we want to naturally thin our voice out. Now we can keep our dark chesty sound while thinning our voice out, but it kind of gives the illusion that there's a lot more chest than there is, if that makes sense. So I am thinning my voice, but I'm also still maintaining chest resonance. There's just like every half step we go up, maybe there's like 1 or 2% less chest resonance, right? Because we're getting higher and our voice needs to thin out, but I'm still maintaining at least a good deal of chest resonance, if that makes sense. Okay, so now we're on F sharp. If this is getting too high for you too, try to do it really fast. No. You can try that. Try doing it really fast and just try hitting the note without being really like, right? Don't shift the placement, or if you have to be then go lower and start with a more chesty sound. Another thing you can do is just land on the note right away, quickly. So try doing it. If you're gonna do this method, just hitting the note right on. Try doing it really thin first. And now try and bring it into just right? Or we can do an octave leap. Sorry. I kind of like doing that because if we start in chest, and we try to maintain it up to the next octave, sometimes that helps me. So if we keep this, now we're getting to G4. We're getting a little bit up there, right? So let's try this octave leap being really nasally first. So start really nasally down here. Right, try really nasally, just fast, try to hit it fast, and now try with a darker tone. Right, so this can help if you try doing it really thin and nasally, and now trying to add a little darkness the second time around. Okay, now we're in G sharp. Again, really nasally first. Ground yourself in that note first. Right, and now add a little darkness. Now, what also might help is if you're not like super chesty, since we're getting high on the bottom note. Maybe you're a little in between if that's more helpful for you. Now we're getting into this range where, when I first start warming up this part of my range, sometimes I do get a few voice cracks, which is normal. So I think of this part like the full mix or medium mix opening up into a fuller mix is kind of like the most you need the most warming up to get into it, right? So it's totally natural for your voice, even every day, to crack a little bit to get into this placement, because it's like going to the gym, and our falsetto is like warming up with 5-pound weights, and then our chest voice coming up from a lower range is like 10 or 15 pounds. And then when we're getting into a full mix, warming it up, we're doing like our, max reps or whatever you want to call it. But I'm just saying it takes a little bit for it to get fully warmed up, if that makes sense. Just like it might take a few sets or more to get to your maximum strength, if that makes sense. Okay, now, one more time. So nasally on G sharp 4. Now do it really full or more full. So I'm just maintaining that lower. I'm lowering my thyroid a bit, larynx, and keeping that dark placement. But I am obviously a lot less in chest than down here, if that makes sense. But it has that dark, full sound, right? Now we're on A4. So A4 can be a hard note to get chest resonant in because it's high. But it's really not that much different. It's the same concept. It just takes time to get up here with chest resonance. So same thing as before. Really, really nasally and bright. Right, very bright. And now let's try a little darker. Right? Much different sound. But it's still not a ton of chest, but there's some in there, right? And it gives it a much different quality. And then you can also, when you get that a little fuller sound, you can add fry. Right? B flat. Very nasally. So I'm still getting a hint of chest there. Still a hint of chest on B4 here. C5. That's very, we're getting high now, so we have to be very bright for the bright part. Now add a little chest. So I'm still getting a hint of chest there. Now, I know this is kind of a lot at once. If you're having trouble getting up into this range at all, or hitting a particular note in particular, I would suggest first hitting the note in falsetto placed very forward in the mask, like this. Now, I know this is a ridiculous sound, but it will help you get the placement with a relaxed effort. And as we go down, I know this sounds funny, but this will actually help you if you're having trouble bridging the gap in between chest and mix. Right? Now here on A4, I also do this pretty much every day. I do this very bright in a masky falsetto. And now I do the exact same thing we were just doing. I try to just add a little chest resonance. Now, when I say that, I don't mean I'm switching into a full mixed voice. I'm just saying I'm trying to place the same exact sound more into my chest to fill it out. So from to right? I'm darkening the sound, and I actually am resonating a tiny bit in my chest there. I know that sounds ridiculous, but just try it if you're having trouble hitting these notes, and I assure you it will help to some extent at least. So that's it for this video. I hope that helped. If you have any questions, comments about what you're having trouble with, just let me know, and I'll make another video about it if you want. All right, so I hope this helped. Please like and subscribe if you like this. It means the world to me. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.